Today's tech news moves fast, but understanding it shouldn't be hard. That's why Snarful Solutions Group brings you Connecting the Dots, where we break down what's happening in tech and why it matters to you. Now, let's dive in with your hosts.
Hello and welcome to Connecting the Dots. I'm Alex.
And I'm Morgan.
It is Wednesday, November 26, 2025, and if you're here in Sacramento with us, well, you know, there's a dense fog advisory out there until about 11 a.m.
Yeah, drive safe. And for everyone else traveling for the Thanksgiving holiday, a quick national alert. There's heavy snow and even blizzard conditions across the northern plains and Great Lakes.
Plus some really strong winds on the East Coast, so travel's going to be challenging. Just a heads up.
All right, let's take a quick look at the markets. A little bit of optimism here. The Dow is up about 136 points.
Up 0.29%. And for the week, it's actually up over 2%.
The S&P 500 is also in the green, up about 6 points or 0.09%.
And Bitcoin is. Well, it's down just a little bit on the day, about 0.5%.
Before we jump into our Morningstar report, let's talk about holiday gifts.
Yes. If you have a techie friend, or really anyone who loves music and sports, our sponsor, Old Glory, is just the perfect place to look.
It really is. They're an iconic merch store with all the deep-cut gear you can't find anywhere else. A perfect, unique gift idea.
And we have a great deal for you. Use the promo code SNARFUL, that's SNARFUL, at checkout, and you'll get 15% off your entire purchase.
Check them out at oldglory.com.
All right, let's get into it. Our first story is a huge one. It really signals the end of the Wild West for AI music.
We are talking about the big copyright pivot for generators like Suno and Udio.
And the scale here is just, it's almost hard to wrap your head around. Suno is reportedly creating 7 million songs a day.
7 million daily? That's like adding an entire Spotify catalog to the world every 2 weeks.
Mostly from, young men?
Yeah, the primary users are male, aged about 25 to 34. But the really jaw-dropping part, the thing that made them an instant legal target, is the money.
This is the part that gets me. Tell us about the spend.
Okay, so since the start of 2024, Suno has spent over $32 million on compute power. You know, the servers, the hardware, the energy to run the AI.
32 million, okay.
Now, compare that to what they spent on the data to train the model, the actual music.
Go on.
$2,000.
Wait. 32 million for the engine and 2,000 for the fuel.
Exactly. I mean, it's no wonder the major labels like Universal and Warner filed a massive $500 million lawsuit against them.
Right. They basically said you stole the entire history of music to build your product.
And that legal pressure absolutely worked. Now we're seeing these major licensing breakthroughs. Udio already settled with Universal and Warner.
And now the big one. Suno has just struck its first major deal with Warner Music Group.
This is the template for the future. It basically confirms that the whole fair use argument that AI companies were leaning on, it's failing.
So the era of just scraping copyrighted music for free to train your AI, that's over.
It's over. The industry has forced them to the table. This is the start of a licensed, regulated system that really kicks off in 2026.
So what does that actually mean for, the person at home just having fun making songs?
It means restrictions are on the way. For songs made on the free tier, you won't be able to download them anymore. You can play them, you can share them, you can't save the file.
And what about for paid users?
Even the paid tiers will get monthly download caps. So the days of unlimited, free, downloadable AI music are coming to an end.
And this is all supposed to benefit the human artists, right? To make sure they get compensated. How does the new deal actually do that?
Well, that's the tricky part. The new Warner Music template creates this opt-in structure.
An opt-in?
Yeah. Artists can now actively choose to let their name, their voice, their compositions be used in new AI-generated music. It gives them a new way to get paid by proactively giving permission.
So the future isn't about fighting the tech. It's about controlling your likeness within it and getting it cut.
Precisely. And here's a really fascinating curveball in all of this. Suno isn't just signing a deal. They're also acquiring Songkick from Warner Music.
Songkick, the concert discovery platform.
Well, the very one. Think about that synergy. You combine AI music creation with live music discovery. It shows Suno wants to be part of the entire music life cycle, from a bedroom idea to a stadium tour.
Wow. That's not a company trying to survive a lawsuit. That's a company trying to become a foundational piece of the new music industry.
Exactly.
Okay, so moving from digital creation to digital marketplaces. Our next story shows that regulatory threats are getting, let's say, existential, especially in Europe.
Yeah, the big takeaway here is that Being a massive global company gives you zero protection from local laws, especially when it comes to sensitive content.
And we are talking about some really aggressive action out of France against platforms like Shein, AliExpress, and Joom.
This all centers on some truly awful, illegal content. The French consumer watchdog, the DGCCRF, found sex dolls with a childlike appearance being sold on Shein's site.
And this is where it goes from just a product safety issue to something much, much more serious.
Oh, absolutely. The French economy minister didn't just issue a fine, he threatened to ban or block Shein from the French market entirely.
Ban the entire platform. That feels like a nuclear option for a regulator.
It is. He cited laws that are usually reserved for the most serious crimes, terrorism or child pornography. Under French law, they can just tell internet providers to block the site completely.
It's an immediate existential threat.
So France is basically saying, if you want access to our market, you are responsible for everything sold on your platform. No excuses.
Exactly. And it's not just Shein. AliExpress and Joom are facing legal complaints. Temu, Wish, eBay, they're all under investigation too.
So how is Shein defending itself?
The defense is, it wasn't us, it was a third-party seller on our marketplace. They took the products down, even removed the whole adult category for a while for a review.
But that excuse is wearing thin.
It is. And the timing for Shein is just terrible. This is all happening right as they're about to open their first permanent physical store in Paris.
Oh, the irony. You're getting celebrated for opening a brick-and-mortar store while simultaneously facing a threat of being wiped off the French internet. It's a PR nightmare. Protests are already starting. The department store that's hosting them had to come out and promise that no products from Shein's international marketplace will be sold in the physical store.
So they're having to fracture their own brand just to manage the crisis. This really sets a precedent, doesn't it? Europe is willing to use its biggest legal hammers to enforce digital governance.
It really does.
Okay, let's pivot to our final story. We're diving into the world of corporate crypto, and specifically Michael Saylor's company, Strategy.
Formerly MicroStrategy, or MSTR, on the stock market, and man, have they had a rough month. The stock has plunged more than 50 cents %.
56. And obviously a lot of that is because Bitcoin itself had that massive 34% drop from its recent high.
Right. Investors treat MSTR stock as basically a leveraged bet on Bitcoin, but the volatility isn't even the biggest threat right now.
This is the part of the story that's new. It's an institutional threat, the $12 billion index threat.
This is the real story. JP Morgan put out this stark warning. The threat comes from major index providers, like MSCI.
Okay, let's break that down. What is an index provider, and why do they suddenly care so much about what Strategy owns?
So an index is just a list of stocks, like the NASDAQ 100. And huge passive investment funds, they have to own the stocks on that list. If you're on the list, billions of dollars flow to you automatically.
If you get kicked off the list,
those billions flow right back out. It's a forced sell-off. And MSCI is now considering a rule change.
What's the change?
They're thinking of excluding any company where digital assets like Strategy's massive Bitcoin hoard make up more than 50% of its total assets.
So MSCI is essentially saying, hey, you look less like a software company and more like a Bitcoin fund, and funds don't belong on our index.
That's it exactly. They're for operating companies. And the decision on this is coming soon, January 15th.
Wow. And if they get dropped, what's the financial damage?
It's huge. Passive funds hold about $9 billion of MSTR stock. JP Morgan estimates an initial sell-off of almost $3 billion instantly.
That is a massive forced liquidity crisis caused by a technical rule change. And yet, Michael Saylor is, he's defiant.
Completely unfazed. He's on the record saying Strategy is indestructible, the best capitalized company in the crypto economy. He says the company is built to withstand an 80 to 90% drop in Bitcoin.
So he sees this as noise, maybe even a buying opportunity. He's betting everything on the asset, even if it costs him access to the biggest investment pools in the world.
He is. But to be fair, there is a counterbalance. Some analysts, like at Benchmark, still have a buy rating on the stock and a high price target. They argue this is just macro volatility, not a broken strategy.
So the big picture here is this incredible high-stakes trade-off. You have the massive potential upside of a Bitcoin treasury versus the catastrophic risk of being kicked out of the institutional investment club.
A club whose rulebook is still being written in real time.
All right, before we wrap up, a quick shout out to our sponsor, Scrutiny. If you're a golfer or you're shopping for one this holiday season, Scrutiny is the premium golf shoe store.
They have incredible style and comfort, stuff that looks great on and off the course, and we've got a deal for you there too.
Use that same promo code SNARFUL at checkout for 15% off your entire purchase. You can find them at scrutiny.com.
Okay, so let's do a quick recap of the 3 huge stories we covered.
First, AI music is officially entering its regulated phase. The Warner Music and Suno deal creates a new license model where artists get compensated, but it means more restrictions for users.
Second, global e-commerce giants like Shein are facing real existential threats from European regulators over illegal content. It proves that global scale is no defense against strict local laws.
And finally, Michael Saylor's strategy is facing a potential $12 billion threat, not from Bitcoin's price, but from being excluded from major stock indexes, forcing a choice between crypto conviction and institutional acceptance.
3 massive stories really defining the intersection of tech, finance, and governance this week.
We're here to help at Snarful, so reach out on our website if you have any more questions.
That's a wrap on today's top stories. Remember, tech doesn't have to be complicated, and we're here to help connect the dots. If you've got questions or want to learn more, visit us at snarful.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.